Who told you that hair was a good idea?
Yeah, run away with your gay-ass hair.
Don't shave it all off.
So bleach that shit, fag. 1, 2, 3. Are you sure? Are you sure? No, it's okay. You got it. You're not scared. You're not too much of a bitch to play the game. All right, then, let's go. Come here.
Don't.
Ready?
David.
1, 2, 3.
David. What the fuck?
Oh, that's hilarious.
No,
Come on.
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's fine.
No, it's not. It's stupid.
Fine. We can play. We can have a little fun. How about that?
I don't want to.
You seem to think that all the time, do you? Yo, all right, look, if you don't want to play, who wants to play then? You want to play? You guys want to play? Come on, you want to play then? Junior, go back. Oh, you want to be a tough guy?
No, he's too small.
No, he wants to act grown, then let him act grown. Come on, let's go then. Ready?
David, stop.
1.
David.
Wait. 2.
Wait.
3.
That's enough.
Gabriel, don't.
Man, who the fuck is this?
Hey, it's fine. It's just Gabriel. It's fine. He's my friend.
All right. Just don't let him touch me. I know how much he likes that shit, don't you?
Oh, trust me, you ain't that cute.
Come on, guys. Knock it off. Let's come on. Your brother can be a real dick. But you're not like him. Yet. You can sit down. It is your bed.
Why does everyone like him?
Hey, what's your password? No, come on, what's your password?
Penguin Lover 52.
Okay. All right, you've deleted your browsing history, sneaky.
Yeah.
So how about I just guess what you're into and you tell me if I'm right?
No, stop.
No, it's fine. All you guys like the same thing. How about that? So? No? Oh, so you're into like more freaky shit?
Is Gabriel...
Yeah. Junior?
I'm so damn tired of this party, girl. I can show you how we do it.
Found something good?
We gon' see. You ready?
I can see the sun. I'm rising up. I feel the love now.
All right. Hey. All right.
Yes,
You should have rocked your head. Get up, boy.
There you go. Come on.
Yeah. Hey. Look back at you. Hey.
I can see the sun. I'm rising up. I feel the love.
Yes.
In my vision.
Wait.
Don't give up.
What's wrong?
I'm not like you.
Right.
Hey, take off your shirt.
Don't start.
Hey, come on.
No.
Come on.
No. Oh. You always have to ruin it. What?
I'm tired of this being a thing.
A thing?
Yeah.
Look, we've been through this, okay?
No, it's not. It's not okay. I love you, but...
But what?
You are fucking nuts. You are nuts. This t-shirt, dark room thing, it's weird. You're hiding, and I can't take it anymore.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Our sex life was better before... You know, now there's all these rules. I want to make love to my man, not to a Hanes t-shirt.
It's Calvin Klein.
I'm not gonna play this game with you. I need you to be here with me.
Oh my God, you are so sensitive. Which is why I thought I'm not with you.
I'm going to bed. I have to be up for work early.
Can we at least come?
No. You're on a timeout.
What up, Bo? Good night.
Still on a timeout.
What up, bro?
I didn't hear you come in.
After work, I stopped by and got me a sandwich.
You know, as long as you're staying with us, you can eat our food. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but all that healthy shit y'all be eating tastes like straight dirt. I'm sorry. I miss them days when we used to eat our feelings together.
Look, we doing it now, except I'm having hard-boiled eggs.
You ain't no huevos, yo. What you got feelings about?
Ever since losing weight, I can't have sex with Xavier without a shirt on. It's weird, and it's getting in the way, and I'm scared of losing him.
Sounds like some deep psychologicalistic shit you need to work through. You should come with me to naked yoga.
What?
Naked yoga, nigga.
Okay, number one, when did you start doing yoga? Number two, naked yoga is not a real thing.
Yeah, uh-huh. I made a delivery to the studio last week, and the counter girl tried to holler at me. Then I noticed, I looked around, and I seen all these girls walking around con toto por fuera, and I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Can I get down? And she told me, so took a little class, a little weird, but mad relaxing.
I don't want to get naked in front of my boyfriend. Why would I want to get naked in front of a bunch of people that I don't know?
Liberation, kid. Free yourself in the chakras and the mantras and all that other shit them crunchy white people be talking about. Plus, it'll make a great article for your blog. I was thinking about taking a class today. Teacher got some big old tetas. Come on, what do you say?
This is real.
Mad real.
Anyone's first time with us today? Just follow along. First time is all about being in the room. A deep breath and an om. Commit to being in the room. Very good. We'll come down into down dog. As we connect our breath to our bodies, any feelings that come up that don't serve us, we release.
Chucky, what the fuck? My bad.
That is perfect. That is perfect. We hold on to things in our lives. We go around trying to be perfect. We're not perfect. Let that concept go. Young man, what's your name?
Chucky.
Chucky. He is your master teacher. Anything that you are holding on to, that it no longer is serving you, I encourage you to take that and let it out. Let go of it. Let go.
I think I got another one. Toma!
Yes!
Hey, come on, man. I know you got it in you. Come on, bro.
Yes! This is the process. This is the practice. This is life.
Baby, I'm home.
Holy. Surprise. You look beautiful. Am I still on timeout?
You are most definitely not on a timeout. Good.
So,
What?
how do you feel?
You are perfect. You've always been perfect.
Still perfect?
Still perfect.
People ask me all the time about how my life has changed since losing the weight. The easiest way to answer is that it's kind of like peeling an egg. Sometimes it can be messy. Sometimes it comes off easy, but as long as you eat the egg, you can reap the benefits. Because you need protein to build muscle.
Julian. ¿Qué hubo? Apúrese. Vas a llegar tarde a clase. Acuérdate, tienes que terminar con broche de oro.
Buenos días, papá. Pa, ¿me regalas una platica para el viaje de graduación?
Aquí está. Hey, Julián, espera. Complace a tu mamá. Tú sabes que este cambio le ha pegado duro. No le demos más estrés.
¿Qué, pa?
Tan guapo y sin novia.
¿Y tú? ¿Tan feo y con mi mamá?
Manuel.
Sí.
¿Pagaste el teléfono? Mira, ¿qué le pasa a esta vaina?
Sí, mi amor. Claro que sí lo pagué.
Sabe, mami, no sé. ¿Vas a seguir viendo televisión en español?
Pero...
Ahora soy yo el que va a terminar llegando tarde a la oficina. ¡Vamos!
Bendición.
Pero el teléfono...
Ni siquiera sé por qué tenemos uno de esos.
Si no, ¿cómo vamos a hablar con tus abuelos?
Bueno, vamos. Hay que terminar con broche de oro, ¿no?
You okay?
Yeah. You ready?
Excuse me? Can I please have an arepa with cheese?
Sí, sí, cómo no. Arepa con queso. ¿Y usted?
Julian? You okay?
I gotta go.
Your phone has been disconnected due to insufficient payment.
¿Pasó algo? ¿Llamaron?
No, mami.
Ve a cambiarte. Te preparo la cena.
Tranquila, tranquila. Ya vengo, ¿ok? ¿Vamos a estar bien?
Sí. Sí, hijo.
Sweet.
Bien, papi. Sí, todos estamos bien. Sí, sí. Acaban de llegar del trabajo. Cuéntame. ¿Y tú y mami cómo están?
You can bring your friend here. It's okay, Julian. It's okay.
Bitch, you lucky you didn't throw up on my dress. Not for nothing, I know you sick and shit, but I'm really glad you asked me to come with you. They don't be having proms in online school. Right?
Yeah, my head hurts, among other things.
I don't start with the Brandon shit.
Mike, can you shut up?
If you don't holler at him now, you're never gonna have the chance to do it.
Nikki, it's not that easy.
Keep being a punk. You're gonna end up all tired and lonely in a gay nursing home with 10 cats eating fucking ramen noodles and shit.
Yo, you are so dramatic. Come on. Yo, can I help it? Yo, he's perfection.
Yeah, well, his perfect ass is coming right this way.
Nikki, don't let me say anything stupid.
Get it together, bitch.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Y'all having fun?
Yeah, man.
Yo, we about to go to the parking lot to smoke. Y'all down?
Nah, I'm already, but I'm down to smoke.
Yo, you got a light on you?
Brandon!
What's good?
Normally I don't come out of my face like this to people, but I'm mad drunk right now, so honestly don't care.
Just say what's on your mind, my dude.
I think you look fucking fine as hell, and I really wanna fuck.
Yo, what?
Oh my God.
Yo, you wildin', man.
My bad, yo.
Do I look like that type of person to
No,
you?
I'm not trying to say I thought you were gay or anything.
No, I'm not talking about gay. I'm saying, if a dude wanna holler at me, then he needs to come at me correct, you know?
So you don't mind the fact that I'm feeling you?
Nah, but I'm a respectable dude. You just can't be saying shit like that, you feel me?
No, but I want to. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick it to you like that. It's just, look, Brandon, I've been feeling you ever since freshman year. And I'm scared I'm never gonna get to see you again.
I'm here right now, right? Let's just make this moment last.
All right.
Yo, this is my song.
Yo, yeah, mine too.
You wanna dance?
What?
Do you wanna dance?
With you? Yeah, but yo, Brandon, this is prom. All of our friends and our teachers are here. Yeah, you not scared?
Ain't nobody here except for me and you. So let's go.
While you walk on tomorrow, and our roads are leading separate ways. Take a second, please, to call me. It won't take too long. I need to hear your voice once again. Cause it's moments like this that make life worth living. Moments like
Michael!
What happened?
Yo, when we bumped heads, you knocked out.
Let me get the ill chichon. Go grab some mimes.
You alright?
Yeah, we'll be. Yo, I don't think I'm gonna go smoke with y'all.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, man, I'll check you later then.
Later.
Where'd Brandon go?
He went to go smoke.
So you're gonna stand here like a little bitch ass? Go after him.
Nikki, I'm scared. Yo, what if he disses me?
You wanna end up with the cats and the noodles?
No.
Then step your game up, because the only way out is through.
My bad. Can I get your light?
Yeah, here.
All right, good luck, man.
Brandon! Do you want to dance?
The world keeps spinning, going in circles every day. Our hearts are beating brand new drums in brand new ways. If we stand and we talk through our ups and our falls, then we'll learn, we'll shine, we'll grow.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dominic D'Andrea. I am the Director of Community Engagement and Digital Programming since the time of COVID at Queen's Theater. Since March of 2020, we have produced nearly 300 unique events under the banner Queen's Theater at Home, ranging from story circles to community conversations to affinity spaces for Black, trans, and non-binary women and other folks. And currently our AAPI affinity space for folks dealing with all that's going on in New York City. We have produced web series, we have produced feature-length films, we have done play readings, we have done storytelling events, we have done comedy shows, we have done community writers groups bilingually in Spanish and English. We've done international Spanish language concerts. We have done new play readings. We have done educational programming. We have done TFA, which is our disability and inclusion wing of the theater. And we have one of the only professional actor training programs for disabled artists in the United States at a theatrical institution. And all of this work that we have done during this time has allowed us to build this really robust, really beautiful digital audience that we're very thankful for. So whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been here a lot or you're one of our in-person patrons who switched over to our digital patron during this time, welcome, we love you, we see you. We are so thrilled to be able to share this work. Tonight's films are, Jay, it's okay, if we can hold on that, that would be great. Tonight's films are part of a series called Stonewall Legacy Project. For the last 2 months, we have been centering LGBTQIA artists in our community, in our immediate family, in our digital community, and asking them to share some really exciting work. We have done feature-length films, we have done short films, we have done storytelling, solo shows, and experimental work. and all sort of like looking at the lens of like what is queer art right now. And then sort of looking at the legacy of Stonewall, where we have been, where we are, and where we are going. And how do we be as inclusive as possible when we're talking about the LGBTQIA community, and really include and showcase a lot of different entry points into the conversation about what that means. So I am very, very thrilled, before we introduce everybody to the screen, to introduce two folks that we have featured tonight, Francisco and Dominic. If you would be so kind as to come on screen. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Hello, hello, hello.
What is it? Thank you, everybody.
We're so thrilled and honored to have you here. Thanks so much for sharing your work tonight and agreeing to that.
No, of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Before we jump in and invite everybody to the screen, I just wanted to give you both the opportunity, starting with Dominic, and then we'll go to Fran, just to talk a little bit about the work that you created and like why it's meaningful to you right now. And I know that Dominic, your film, especially because it just hit a really important 10-year anniversary, we have some other guests that will join and talk about that momentarily. But just if you can riff a little bit on like what these films mean to you and what it means to have them out in the world.
Totally. So hi, everyone. I'm Dominic Colòn, he, him, shouting out from the BX, Bronx, New York, Lenape land. I am the writer of Crush, and I am the writer, co-director, and that is my penis in Scan. And why is it important? You know, it's just, considering this is part of the Stonewall Legacy Project, and you know, both of my films, Crush being 10 years old, Skin being 6, it's just really, and you know, watching my own journey, you know, as an artist, as a gay artist, as a Latinx artist, and thinking about the Dominic who wrote that piece. So Crush was originally conceived as a play, like it was a play, we performed it. I ran a theater company at the time for 12 years that did theater around social issues. We primarily did shows and workshops around HIV, but we also included homophobia and domestic violence. And Crush, I wrote Crush for the company. And it was one of those pieces that every time we performed it, people were like, yo, you gotta make this into a movie. You gotta make this into the movie. And you know, at that time, for the most part, I identified kind of solely as an actor, and writing was something that I did for me to kind of liberate my soul from the Law and Order SVU shoots and the auditions of every, you know, crazy ass show that shoots in New York that, you know, wears on your soul as an actor, but you got to do because, you know, to pay the rent. So writing was my sacred space, especially for the company. But I, you know, heard about this competition that HBO was doing, and something told me you're gonna win. And I did it, and I won. And, you know, we got the call July 19th, 2011. July 19th, 2011, Calixto, who you will meet later, gave me the call. And then I immediately got on the phone with Gloria, the director, and producer, and Joe, the producer as well, of course, who you meet as well. And we had 19 days total before we made our premiere. So yeah, so it was intense. Crush did really, really well. We ran on HBO for a long time, played film festivals all over. And it eventually kind of kickstarted what inevitably became a shift in my career as a writer. Skin really solidified it. Skin is my story. I lost a bunch of weight. I went through, you know, a lot of fuckery in that weight loss, and it's about, you know, how the fuckery we all go through and put on ourselves when we let fear get in the way of our best selves. And you know, as whether you're a large person whether you identify as part of the LGBTQIA, Latinx, or whatever, like all people have experienced some moment in their life where they, you know, fear is an issue. And for me, as a creator, all my work essentially is about liberation, and how we can become the best. How do we become the best version of ourselves? So that's a lot of talking. Hi, Fran. Go.
Yeah, well, first, thank you so much for having me. I feel like this is such a special, Dominic went away, but this is such a special.
All right.
Stay up here. Yeah, you're good.
There you go. This is such a special showing because to have it next to Dominic, who literally took me to my first gay bar, you know, took me, you know, decided to show YUNIOR with Calixto at its world premiere in New York. That in itself, to share a screen with Dominic, feels so special. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, so I'm Francisco Cabrera-Feo, feo like ugly in Spanish, but come on now, oxymoron. But I am the writer and director of Por Ti and YUNIOR, both films that for me were about rewriting my history. You know, I didn't meet a queer person until I went to college, like an openly out queer person until I went to college. So I wanted to give myself that to like 13-year-old me and to see how frightening and freeing that would be. Like that's always, I think, in my writing has been to rewrite my history and also give myself some wish fulfillment. You know, when you look at Por Ti, that's the other approach to that, where my father wasn't this accepting father or even open to talking about it. But I wanted to give myself the father that I deserved. And those two things for me felt like, instead of re-traumatizing myself by telling these stories, I was giving myself healing, you know? YUNIOR, I was making while I was still in the closet. Por Ti, I was making after. So they feel like two very moments of encapsulating where I was and where I want to be. So yeah, I feel very, I don't know, those are two very special films to me. And I think what I hear a lot is that like, oh, coming out stories, like we're so over those, or like, oh, that's such a story that's been told so many times. But I think if kids are still having such a difficulty with the subject, if I myself at 19, now at 23, like still am having a hard time with that, then I still think the stories are still needed, especially coming from an immigrant point of view where your family, you know, they have the mind of the country they came from. So all these immigrant kids don't have the cool parents and liberal parents that maybe we've seen on TV, that maybe we've seen in other movies or other shows. So I think that's always so important to me. Like if kids are truthfully like still dying for their shame, then for me, these stories are still important and I'll still continue to tell them.
I really appreciate what you both offered, especially the entry point into so many conversations about intersectionality, you know, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a second, but I do want to introduce the rest of our guests to the screen. Calixto, Gloria, Joe, whoever else is there. Please come on camera. Hello, everybody. Everyone else that we're missing? There he is. All right.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Please, introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, where you're zooming in from, and a little bit about your work and the involvement in these projects.
I guess, Gloria, if you can start.
Sounds good to me. My name is Gloria Lamort. I am the director and editor of Dominic's Crush. It was, as he said, we had X amount of days to put it together, but it was a wonderful roller coaster ride. Calixto, I did not know that you were going to be here. This is a great moment for us. Yeah. You were on set.
Yeah,
very supportive. Very supportive of the, of the project. So yeah, it's still one of the proudest things that that I've done and continues to be.
Yeah,
I'm Joe Lamort. I was I was the producer on the project with Dominic. So Dominic mentioned that he got the call and something told him beforehand that he was going to get it. Well, I had told him when he shared the script with me, I immediately said, "Hey, we gotta prepare immediately. You're gonna get this. You're definitely gonna be awarded this money to do the film." And the legwork started. When I first read the script, which I think was maybe about a good month or something beforehand or whatever. But at that point, it was like, okay, let me just start putting the pieces together, because I was just waiting for the phone call and stuff.
Ducks were in the road.
Yeah.
You guys are real confident. That's good.
Well, when it's on a written page and it's that good, you know it was gonna happen. And clearly, look, you're the festival, and you're being the head of the festival, Click. So you saw something there, obviously, as well, and it was great. And we're calling in from Union City, New Jersey.
Yes.
Wow.
I like it. Usually on these Zooms, everything goes like, I'm here, I'm in, I'm zooming in from this and that. So I like that it's a little more stream of consciousness, and it's good.
Well, I'm actually zooming from Atlanta right now. But yeah, I'm the exec director for the New York Latino Film Festival. And yeah, we ran this program where it was a short production program with HBO, where basically it emulated Project Greenlight to a large extent, where we funded from a script level. And you literally had like probably less than a month to put it together and have it premiere in time for the festival. So it was a bit of a headache. We did like 7 or 8 cycles of these films, and actually, I whatever, not to toot our own horn, but all of our alumni, from this program, has gone on to do some great things. Aura Guerrero, she's we gave her first project, and so now she's at Queen Sugar. She's doing all these things. She did Mosquita y Mari, all of them. Dominic, Betty La Flaca. We have just some classics. I'm really proud of the alumni that's come from that program. And so Dominic was one of the few films that had a double license. You know what I mean? It had a cycle in HBO, 2 cycles where the film got licensed, and because the film was just popular. And then I know Here Networks, had picked up a license for it, fairly recently. But yeah, I mean, good content is from the page, right? And so the film, it's 10 years later, but it still holds up,
But I think one of the reasons why it was important for you to be here, Calixto, is that 3 out of these 4 films played the festival. And I think, the festival has always, is a home for so many of us and so many great projects. And we've all had projects there, so I think, it was really important for you to be here and to represent the festival and be a part of this conversation. Because
I appreciate it.
Of course.
It's beautiful to have all of you here tonight. Just because I think some of you are probably joining in this film, this program is part of a series that we've done called Stonewall Legacy. And it has been paid for by foundation money, but also from discretionary money from Daniel Drum, who is our Queens representative, and is the person who was at the beginning of Queens Pride, which started in response to the killing of Julio Rivera 31 years ago. And it became its own movement separate from Pride NYC. And then he became our elected official. And then when we started working in these spaces and really meditating, especially during COVID, like, what does it mean to like create and hold queer spaces during COVID, I guess? And I think that was something that was a through line in our conversation through the last 2 months of these projects. But it's 2 years ago, we did a project called the Stonewall 50 Plays. Dominic was there, where we had over 110 LGBTQIA plus contributors, either making 1-minute plays, acting, directing, and we put this huge body of work up in one day over at the Queens Museum. And it started not only a conversation within our organization, but a conversation in the community, particularly an intergenerational conversation. As you recall, that with some of the older folks and the younger folks were kind of riffing on, and it sort of exposed some generational tensions as well, which we hope to explore a little bit further and have in the last few weeks. But when this opportunity came up to do this work, we really thought the best thing to do would be to center artists and center the stories that they wanted to tell, and kind of like invite them to show the projects, whether they're film or performance or whatever. They were all really different. But we did ask the same questions of everybody that is engaged in this, which is like, in thinking about the legacy of Stonewall and what that meant. And obviously there's been many movements, international movements and things going on far before Stonewall, but at least in our American identity, Stonewall is cemented as such a moment. It was a protest, it was a riot, it was a response, and so much was built off of that. What does it sort of mean to you to think about the work that you're doing now in relationship to that? And kind of like riffing on the continuum of like where we've been, where we are, where we're going. Which is not a succinct question, but it's more of an invitation to kind of meditate a little bit.
I mean, for us, I mean, the festival, I mean, we, like the gay community, we were a marginalized community, right? And so there really wasn't anything happening, at least at the time, you know, for Latinos, you know what I mean? Like, how do you educate, or, you know, not only and activate a community, but also educate the system, the studio system, to what we were putting out? And nothing like that had done that, and really paint the picture of what I believe is like, hopefully a true representative of the Latino experience, you know what I mean? And that includes the Black experience, like the full spectrum, but also at all sides of the story. That includes the gay, the LGBTQ experience, because I'm gay. But like the festival, I had my own journey with that experience. But, you know, the festival, we always wanted it to be inclusive, even when the community wasn't quite ready for it. So I remember, you know, back then it was even more pronounced. You had the gay festivals and the gay filmmakers, you know, whether they were Black, white, whatever, felt comfortable playing that content there. And then you had the other festivals where maybe some of those films didn't play, right? And in Latino, you know, since nothing had existed, you had a community that was kind of nervous and like, okay, is this festival going to accept me? And, you know, I remember back in the day, you know, there's this Puerto Rican filmmaker, her name is Rose Troch. And I approached her about showing her film that she had played at Sundance. It was like Go Fish, I think it was, or her follow-up to Go Fish. And I remember she was so surprised that we would want to play this film. And she's like, "You're sure you want to play this? Like, it's about two lesbians and it's black and white and it's this and this." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm beyond positive. I like this movie." And so you realize, you know, the duty, the responsibility, but also the importance of making sure that you create those spaces for every filmmaker to feel welcome, every Latino filmmaker to be welcome. And that was just really important. And I think that's, you know, again, we were at a different time where, you know, filmmakers were probably scared, and, you know, we wanted to provide a safe space, you know? And so, and now we're here, and now the conversation's louder. And so, yeah, that's our journey of the festival, and like kind of supporting these voices and making sure every voice is heard.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Dominic, I know before we started the Zoom, we were riffing a little bit on this idea of fear too.
I mean, I made a very conscious decision around the time where Crush was made, where it was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna be afraid. Like, I'm going to push the needle forward. I'm gonna revolt. Like, this is my art. This is what I have to say. I don't care if I'm like, you know, 3 steps ahead of where the industry is or going, and or people don't see it. Like, Skin was like a big deal when it came out. Like, you know, I'm so proud of the film. But I remember it playing on the festival circuit was a lot. We had a crazy road. Like, I got personal emails from really huge festivals that I'm now a part of their community. But at the time they were like, yo, people say they want brave shit, but they're scared and they don't know what to do with this. And they're scared how people will react. And like, we don't have a place for it. But I want to program you in my own festival that I'm doing here. But I just want to let you know that I believe in you and I fought for you. It just didn't go your way. And we got a bunch of those emails, and it was just like, you know, we keep fighting and we keep telling these stories because eventually they're gonna find a way to be seen. And that fighting spirit that started, you know, the Stonewall riot, like, lives in all of us as artists, and that's why we do what we do. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about intersectionality a little bit, because I think one of the things I think is so beautiful about these films is they were not speaking to sort of like one pure identity or like one pure thing. You know, we talked a little bit about and saw, you know, queer Latino, queer immigrant, queer American, queer relationship to race, to relationship to culture, a lot of different entry points into how we sort of like form and shape identity, right? And experience and point of view. And I think that was such a through line throughout all these films tonight, is that we saw a lot of different ways of looking at things, that we're not through a white gaze, we're not through a cis gaze necessarily, or not, and also through a questioning gaze, which was really interesting. But you know, I'm also the son of immigrants and identify with that very, very strongly as well in my own personal journey. And obviously I'm a white person, so that that has a different context than other people that have an immigrant experience. But you know, that's a different conversation. But I'm just sort of curious, especially Fran and anyone else who wants to jump in, like how do those themes sort of like how did you sort of engage with that in a way that that felt true?
Yeah, you know, I think it had to be a fight. I mean, what Dominic is saying about constantly fighting, you know, I was in a school that was predominantly white. There was only 2 Latinos in my class, me and another person. In Florida, like, how do you have that in Florida where everybody's an immigrant? So it was extremely difficult. I mean, we had to constantly fight. We had to, you know, ask for, especially for Por Ti, fight for representation and for casting that was, you know, accurate. And it was, you know, I remember fighting about even naming the movie in Spanish. Like, I had to do a whole fight about this. And that's so, and what they said, the response was like, well, literally like, well, Americans are not going to be able to read it. And I'm like, Americans? What do you mean by Americans? You mean me? I'm an American. Like that, those conversations were constantly had. And honestly, if it wasn't for me posting it online and having people like Dominic, or having people like, you know, people that I really look up to really say, continue fighting. If you need me to fight for you, send me that email of that teacher that said that, and I will fight. I will, you know, blow that email address up. Like, it was constantly a fight. And even with, we're talking about the Stonewall Legacy, like, that was such, you know, that constant fight still in us. And the fact that, you know, coming from a school like that, then leaving that school and going to a show, to write on a show that has all those intersections, and all those intersections are allowed, like being gordito, like I'm writing on a show that's about a little gordita, you know, being Latinx and an immigrant and queer, Gentified, had all those things. Gordita Chronicles has all those things. So that fighting spirit of being in a predominantly white school and institution, and telling me that all these things you have to fight to even be validated, then having Hollywood and having Latinx showrunners tell me that every single part of you deserves to be here and is needed, it's a dream. And I think it shows a little bit of progress, but there's obviously so much more.
Yeah, you don't always get that. Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. You were talking earlier about in the festival about the idea of creating safe space and making everybody feel welcome. And to me, that's like a very that's something we try to do all the time too. And it's a very active question because it's sort of like, what is the social contract that makes a safe space? Like safe for who and to what end? And certainly like acknowledging all parts of yourself and welcoming all parts of the table is one way of creating the conditions for people to feel safe to share their self. Right.
I think this is what, and maybe you and Gloria and Dominic can share this story, but I remember when we premiered Crush and the nerves, the jitters that even Dominic had when we premiered that film and the reaction to it, because it played on a very specific night. It premiered, we had this thing called Dominican Night at the festival. We honor like Dominican filmmakers, whatever. And so Crush played before every film, but this was like a night that we were really curious to see how the audience would respond. And I think Dominic and Gloria, you can take it from there because you guys tell this, you guys lived it. I just put it on.
Before Gloria jumps in, I just want to welcome Sean to the screen. He just arrived here. Hello, welcome.
Yeah, he's the lead for Crush.
Who's that
Sean.
Man?
Who's a man? I haven't seen Sean in forever.
Gloria, go ahead.
I'll let Dominic speak on one aspect of that night, and where my heart was able to rest that night because it was Dominican night, and every time a movie we showed, and it's like you want to get people's reactions. My heart rested in the fact that who hasn't had a crush, whether you're gay, straight, it landed on that human of a moment of that human emotion. And every time I thought about that, I knew it was going to be fine. I knew that it was going to be fine. And, just to circle, we were also the producers on Skin, body shaming, so these are themes and situations that we all experience. It's the universality of it, and it's the uniqueness of the writer, the perspective, and the characters that they put in there to create that moment. But go ahead, Dominic.
It was 2011. It was 2011. Yeah. Do I know that I'm a fierce writer? Yes, absolutely. Do I know these,
Own it.
Yeah, I totally. Fuck yeah. I mean, I do. There's a reason why these films all hold up so well, but I think we were not there. I don't know if we're there in 2021, whatever there is. But I think, it's part of being an artist is like, are they gonna like it? How are they gonna respond? And I mean, we've never had a bad screening with any of them. Like, and I'm always proud. I'm always proud to show them. Yeah.
But that night I think was kind of electric because we premiered the film.
Oh, hell yeah, it was electric.
All over the place. And this night was really like, because this audience was very specific, and we're like,
well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, homophobia is always a very real thing in the Latinx community, but I mean, in Dominican culture, Sean, as a Dominican person, you could speak to that, but it's mad real. It's like they take it up a notch. They take their hate a little more seriously sometimes. I don't know.
And again, you gotta understand, Dominican now it's very different now, but gay clubs, even Dominican Republic, were not known to like the 2000s. I mean, that it was very suppressed, and now it's more liberal. It's changed because generational shifts or whatever. But even when Crush played, that was pretty significant. It's like how, even though it's a very Dominican American community, you got to understand, back then there was only one gay club in all of Washington Heights, and that was like, oh shoot, that's the gay club that exists in Washington Heights.
But we didn't,
like Chelsea, it's not like anything else. So
I mean, let's take it away. I mean, TV representation. There was no Cold. There was no Love Victor. There wasn't even an Orange is the New Black at the time.
Yeah, nothing in Latino.
There was just Glee.
Yeah. So when you think about Latin media, right, or multicultural media, that didn't exist. Not even Moonlight, like none of this stuff. Moonlight was a breakthrough for African Americans. And even it wasn't even that gay, if you ask me. But even that story is like, this is the big thing. It's like when you look at Crush, you realize how far we have to go. We still have to go as filmmakers, but also audiences of color to take in these stories, and for these stories to get produced with real money, with real budgets, behind them. So yeah. But Sean, you're the Sardis, you're Dominican, like talk to us.
Well, what should I? I'm in the Dominican Republic right now, so.
Go show Crush out your window.
But also, you were really young when you shot this.
Yeah.
You're exposing yourself. You're kissing a guy. That was a big deal too. I know you were nervous a little bit at the time too.
Yeah, I mean, there was Crush that happened in the film festivals, and there was Crush that happened afterwards. For me, my journey was very unique because, I come from a very Dominican family, and my family was not acceptant of the film. And in fact, I got kicked out of my house because of Crush. It was the repercussions were very serious for me doing the film. And I slept in people's couches. I slept in Dominic's apartment. And when he was in his mid-30s, he didn't know what to do with a 19, 20-year-old. But then I look at the repercussions of, not the repercussions, but I look at the effects of these films, such as like Crush and, another film was Gun Hill Road. That really paid. That was the same year. And a lot of the films in the LGBTQ community, I'm not sure if I said that in the right order, but forgive me if I didn't, that came afterwards. But what I saw was that it allowed for more of an acceptance. I think that the most proud that I was of screening Crush was 2 years ago when my cousin came out as gay. And I was able to show him Crush. And it was a form of like, look, this is what a crush could look like, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. But when we talk about why media is so relevant, and especially like these films in our communities are so relevant, is because the journey of acceptance in our communities are so, they take a little longer, if you will. Just being in Dominican Republic with all of these laws that are being passed right now, and the fight that continues. We have to remember that our fight is not like the white people's fight, It was also around the same time in 2008 where or a little after 2008, where like the gay marriage was passed. But we saw a lot of the issues were still really relevant, and the oppression was still really relevant in our community. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all that. I mean, I think it's a very intense thing that happened to you, Sean. Thank you for your vulnerability and putting that in this space tonight, because it's a constant reminder that telling these stories are not without risk, and not without repercussion, and not without harm.
Well, I didn't mean it. I thank you, but I didn't mean it to make it sound like I'm being. What's cool about this is that we get to see the journey. I was watching Pose, and it gives me fucking chills watching that, because I get the understanding of that there was so much that had to happen in order for that to be on FX. And it was movies like Crush, it was movies like Gun Hill Road. It was just different unspoken pioneers, in my opinion, like Dominic, that had to have come first in order for those stories to be like widely accepted. Like it gives me chills. And Calixto and you know, people from the New York Latino Film Festival who were able to make films like that possible. Like what's that Saturday Night Church, you know, like you have to have
Saturday Church, yeah.
Yeah, you have to have those films in order for it to be widely accepted. And it's not, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable in our communities. But we have to go through it, you know. One thing that I love about Crush, Dominic used to speak about it. I was reading the one-act play when we used to do it in our theater company, and he always used to say that it was a piece about stepping up to the crush of your lifetime, and that it was such a universal story that we can all connect to. It didn't matter who, if it was a man, it didn't matter who was on the other side, but it was such a universal story. And that's what makes his writing so beautiful, that it's something that we can all relate to. It's not a gay film, you know, it's just a film about love.
Yeah. You know, for me, I think, you know, my first experience, I think, in seeing cinema of color was like Paris is Burning.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, you know. And then to your point, you know, Pose was just another lesson for me, because I didn't know the era, but it's just you learn. But, you know, the unfortunate thing is that I can count the gay films of color with my hands. That's a problem. You know what I mean? And so the industry, you know, and even us, there's so much more to go and grow, you know. And it's unfortunate, like a show Pose only, you know, thank goodness it lasted 3 seasons, but what's next? Because that's the only show that's had a budget. You know what I mean? When can, you know, that show be, you know, even for me, I was looking at the last episode, like sorely missed, because the acting, everything, everybody put it on the screen. And when you're going to see something like that with a decent budget on national television, I don't know, you know, and that's unfortunate.
Soon.
You know, soon. Yes, we got to decree and declare.
Soon.
To everyone who's watching, to everyone in this room, you know, soon. Yes.
There are some shows that are out there right now that are interesting. Generation on HBO.
Generation, yeah. I binged on that recently.
Yeah, Betty. All the other one, if you haven't seen that, it's about you know, young.
But one thing that I will say about you know, it's that it's I want to be careful how I say this, because I think that when I talk about representation, I don't want to like pull away, you know. Our communities are sometimes overseen. They're left out. And there are some, growing up in New York, having been experienced in our theater company, and just like growing up, being just around so many different subcultures, there are many young people who can feel overlooked. And when we speak about those communities, usually portrayed in this light where it's like gritty. What a film like Crush and like what Gun Hill Road did and leading up to Pose did was that it gave a lot of humanity to this specific community, and it didn't fucking matter if white people were relevant into it. It's an urban community in New York City, and that it speaks to so much of us that, you know, I hope I'm making sense of what I'm saying. Like it was for us, and then it was able to speak about what we go through, but at the same time transcend and where other people can see themselves. The show on HBO, I love it. It's great, but it can be a little Eurocentric at times. But what these films did was just that it was these films were for us, and that's something to kind of like grasp.
Gotta hold on to that. Yeah, you don't get those images often. Even Francisco's film, that's what really compelled me with that. You know, how multicultural it was, authentic. It just was it was just so good, you know. So I remember when I first saw it, I called Dominic, and we were like, we talked on the film immediately. I was like, yo, this film is dope.
Well, I called you and I was like, bitch, you gotta watch this film.
See, he wants to give himself credit. You can't, bro, you've been on the credit spree for a minute now. No pa tanto. Like,
one of the things
I'm gonna claim this one.
One of the things, I don't know if you remember, Calixto, I came up to you at Nalib, like even before I made this movie, I probably was like 18 or so. And
I won't remember that part, but okay.
No, it's okay. But I was like, oh, wow. Do you put your films in like a gay program? When you show it at New York Latino Film Festival, is it under like a gay block? And for you, what you told me is that no, you don't. It's you know, the film that I created did not play in a gay block, and what that meant is that we were allowed in other spaces, right? And what that meant to me even more personal, it was that, you know, if my parents or if people's parents were going through the list of, you know, blocks, they weren't just gonna skip the gay block. They didn't get to skip us. They didn't get to put us on the side.
I'm glad you realized that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you like, I remember it so visually when you told me that. But that meant so much to me because then somebody's parents could randomly walk into the screening and be forced to sit through YUNIOR, to sit through films like this. And that meant the world to me. And I knew that like it was going to be the best place for us to show that movie.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to prep the audience. I don't want to prep it. You know, you should watch it. These are the themes. Like we carefully curate everything, every program, like everything. But I don't want to prep you to what to expect. Oh, you're gonna see this gay block? Nah, I don't need to do all that. You know, this is the story. This is the through line of that theme. And you're gonna sit, and to your point, Francisco, whether your parents or whoever's, you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna sit down, and you're not gonna leave because you don't know what film is playing before or after you. And so that's the thing. But you realize the reaction is totally different. Like you get it. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But when audiences, when they're done with a good program from the festival, our audience is pretty loud. They're very loud and they're very active. And we pride ourselves in just, you know, again, just presenting good content. And when it's there, it's there. You know, I don't know how to preface it with anything or prep you for it.
Folks, I love this conversation. I do want to be mindful of time and your time and honoring your generosity. So we're going to wrap in probably about 5 to 10 minutes here. But one question we've been asking all of our guests throughout this series is about the future, right? And you've sort of talked about it in through line throughout our conversation tonight. But this is a question for everybody in the room, is just like, what are your hopes and aspirations for what comes next? Either with the work or the art that we're doing, or for the LGBTQIA community, or the work that queer artists are doing, or whatever, however that lands on you. Like what are we hope? What are aspirations?
I think for the artists here, Dominic.
I mean, we're out here doing the work, you know. Fran is out. This is his second writer's room in less than a year on 2 big shows, Gentified and now Golita Chronicles. I have a lot on my plate as well. I have 3 shows currently in development at studios. We're out to network with some, like theater, all of it. So we're out here doing it. Our peers are out here doing it. Like it's, you know, what could have, you know, been a moment. We are, you know, our community is really banding, working together, lifting each other up, you know, to make this into a movement. And we're holding doors open for each other, and we're pushing motherfuckers in, and we are providing, yeah, I mean, we are, and that's the only way we have to. So, you know, I'm very, 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 very optimistic about the future. It doesn't mean shit is easy, but it is easier when we work together, and we do it together.
Absolutely. And me picking it just up from there is like, yeah, I mean, Dominic looked out for me, and folks looked out for me from ever. I mean, people, since I was like, you know, in high school, people were looking at me and seeing, I see something in you before you see it on yourself, you know? And I think that's kind of what we have to continue doing, is like helping each other out, looking out for each other, bringing people up with us. And I don't know, like that community, because Hollywood is still going to Hollywood. Hollywood is still going to do their thing. But Dominic can call me, I can call him, I can call, you know, other folks, and we can be like, Dominic is, Hollywood is Hollywooding. And you can be like, yes, Hollywood is Hollywooding. So that's so important that we have each other and that community continues to grow.
And in addition to Hollywood is Hollywooding, because that is definitely a thing. In my experience, Hollywood is also growing, you know, and I see the desire to change. I have been very fortunate to be, you know, invited into spaces where, you know, my voice is not only welcome, it is the voice in the room. And I feel like that is not, you know, little by little, it's changing.
I think for me, the change is really to continue to apply that pressure on the studios, because we've been through this block before, right? And, you know, in the height shouldn't be an anomaly, you know what I mean? Like, or anything else, right? And so we got to continue to pressure the studios that, like, you know, you got to continue, can't be business as usual, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't take the killing of a man to all of a sudden make you guys realize that you got to change your ways, right? And so I think, you know, for us is, you know, continue to be supportive of all these voices of the stories, to build these audiences up, but to continue to, you know, to push the studios that, like, we're not going away, you know, and continue to find roles where we can educate them, you know, and even forge more allies with different, you know, studios, and again, just, you know, apply that pressure to diversify it, and you're seeing it, but it's still, it's gonna take a minute, you know. The work continues. I think
Also to be like hella fucking grateful for the work that's already being done too. Like I also want to give props to like Calixto and Dominic. Like you guys are like so revolutionary. I don't know if people give you enough like badass energy as they should, but I will. You know, like it's just amazing to be where we are now. Yo, I fell in love. I remember when Dominic was like, "You gotta watch this film, Saturday Night Church," and I was like, "Word?" He was like, "Yeah, work. You're gonna love this shit."
Saturday Church.
Saturday Church.
And I love the shit out of this. And then all of those actors, next thing you know, are on this primetime television show. Dominic is like, "You gotta watch it." And I was like, "Really? I don't even watch TV like that." And all of a sudden, I'm paying for the 3rd season on Amazon to finish watching it. It's crazy to me. And you falling in love with all of these different people. And now you got MJ being nominated for fucking Emmy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if she didn't get that nomination, like, yo, all of those actors were bomb in that series. Like, you know, like that is something to give props to. I look at that show and I'm amazed. Like, if I'm breaking up, I'm sorry. But like 5 years ago, that television show, I don't think would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like to fall in love with India and her relationship with Papi, to fall in love with just those trans actors, to fall in love with those different relationships, and Billy Porter, like that's not something that I don't think like 5 years ago would have been a thing, but it is now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, just like to say, like, give thanks to a lot of the work that's been done, and thank you, Calixto, and thank you, Dominic, for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you, guys. And you know what? I will say this before I jump to Dora. Let me tell you something. I remember when we played Saturday Church, everyone questioned us. Are you sure you want to do this? This is a risk. Are you sure you want to open the festival with this? And we were like, why not? Even had our publicist, who's that back then, no, not now, was like, are you sure you want to show this? And I'm like, yeah, because I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a musical set in the Bronx with people of color. I've never seen anything like it. And so it's crazy, you know, it was a couple of years ago, but still that fear, the fact that you're still questioning, you know, us, why would we do this, and a risk, you know, that's language that, you know, those are words I wouldn't even say. You know what I mean? It was just, it's interesting how far we need to go, you know? And I remember when Dominic and I saw the film, we were like, yeah, this is the movie we want, you know? And it's funny because when we premiered the film, that was the first thing we were, to this day, Saturday Night Church, we're the only festival of color that film had played in. Played at Outfest, didn't play New Fest, it played Outfest, it played all these other fests. We're the only festival of color that it played in. That's crazy. And the cast recognized that from the start. They were like, we never played to our own people. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate, but that's also responsibilities as programmers, you know, Dominic, everyone in this room, that you're creating spaces for us to be in as well. You know what I mean? That's important, you know, for institutions or organizations to equally take the responsibility to make sure that we're being heard. So yeah.
And inroads are, you know, are being made. It's always too slow, but you know, we just seeing, we haven't seen the series Love Victor. Not only is it about a gay young man, he's Latino. You know, and generally that wasn't always the case. So, you know, it's becoming less of a you know, just something that's not seen. You know, I have Crush on our website, and my nephew, who is bi, he hasn't come out, but you know, he goes, hey, you know, I checked out Crush on the website, and you know, my friend and I saw it together, you know, his friend, and I was like, oh cool, you know, how'd you like it? It was just a way to start a conversation, for him to tell me something or trust some, you know, start a conversation with me, with his aunt. And I remember when Crush came out, we have huge family gatherings, and we played it for everybody. And one of my aunts, you know, she said after it was over, she goes, ay, cuidado that there's kids in the room. My aunt Rosalba.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I heard her whisper to, you know, to her daughter or something. And I was like, okay, well, you know, there's 50 of us. We all saw it, you know, no matter how old you were, you have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. You know, we were coming from a perspective of directors, as producers, art, and it was in our home, and we felt that's where it belonged. And you know, I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't know if our views have changed, but she was there in the room, and it was just a short comment a quiet comment that I caught, and then I felt, wow, it was really important to play it for the entire family.
Yeah. But definitely, Dominic and everyone at Queens Theater, I want to thank you. You know, I think I speak on behalf of all of us for giving us the space and the opportunity to be present, right? And so thank you so much.
I appreciate that, but I also feel like I'm leaving this space very inspired tonight. And you know, I've known some of you a long time. Some of you I've known, like Sean, a long time, a little bit. And Dominic, you know, especially this year, you know, become very close. And I'm very inspired by the work that you're all doing, and watching the growth over the last decade has been really tremendous. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, please let me know. If the festival needs a home, you want to come to Queens Theater or something,
hey,
hit me up.
All right.
The possibilities are endless, especially.
And it begins with conversations like this, right?
Well, coming out of COVID, especially, we're in a space right now where we're really looking to what happens next, and there's nothing to lose, and we have a lot of ideas. And so we're living in this space where we're very, very open and always up to hearing a good idea, and to create partnerships and collaborations that last. And we always do these things, and the work that we do like this is never a one-off. I mean, it is like we're on a Zoom and it's like a one-off, but it's never the relationships and the conversations are always ongoing. And those of you who already know that, and we will keep it going, and we will do more.
I wanted to add just a small thing, especially because this is like Queer Latinx specific, a slight tiny plug. I just worked on a series with Netflix called Visions of Us, and it's absolutely specifically focusing on the history of queer Latinx representation on television and film. And like, it is a small, you know, it's a 4-part series, but it is really like a catch up, a cliff notes on how to get to know the history that came before you, so you can make art that challenges the future. So we worked so hard on it, and I would love if folks got to check it out on YouTube, Visions of Us.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, check it out for sure.
Awesome. Well, folks, I don't want to take up the rest of your night, but we really appreciate you. We love you, and thank you for sharing your beautiful work, and for the meditation on 10 years, and for all the things that you've done, and all the things that you're doing. It's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful time to get work out in the world, and we'll be watching. So.
Thank you so much. Good to see everybody here. We haven't seen each other in a minute, so thank you. Much love. Take care.
So, Glory, I love y'all.
Love you, man.